Well, there you are. Hi, everybody. Coming to you from on the road at the Gorillas headquarters out somewhere in the mountains of Tennessee. Actually, I came off the mountain just to do this tonight so I could hang out with everybody. Let's first do a mic check. Mic check, mic check. Picture check, picture check. So if you find and you give me a little feedback in the box if you got me on the screen and you can hear me great, that would be fabulous so we can find out what everyone's doing. I have been at the cabin and have been existing on 3G on my phone with no ability to make a phone call. So, but we've been doing that and it worked out. We got actually last night with my phone on 3G, I was able to connect to Paul, who's going to be with us tonight. I was able to talk with him on Skype last night, and it's a pretty interesting thing when you can go from 0 to 1 second later you're talking to someone in China. So anybody else making sure you can hear me? Give me a Zagar says he can hear. Travis says he can hear, but you can't see me. Let's see. Anybody can see me. Anybody can see me. By the way, Travis, I sent you a link. If you want to come link live on the page, you're more than welcome to. You can chime in when you think you got something. I hear nothing but good things about Sunday, obviously. No C. All right, I can hear you. Can you see me now? Is my wonderful face on camera? Yay! Here we go. I don't have a tan. I've been in the woods, so there's no tans going on, but I definitely had some good times. We're going hiking tomorrow, doing a little business, bunch of stuff. All right, I think we're good. I think we got everybody. So again, Travis, I sent you a link. If you want to dive in. Okay, yeah, lots of noise currently. Okay, no problem. All right, so anyway, we've got some cool things going on tonight. We're going to talk tonight about how to source safely in China. Anybody got any questions or anything you want to throw out before we get started? We'll let everybody kind of roll in. It's just a couple minutes after. New background setting. That's because I'm in a hotel room. That's why it's a new background. I'm on the road. The Gorillas headquarters is anywhere I'm at, and I happen to be, I think I'm in actually Crossville, Tennessee. Crossville, Tennessee. Hi, Kaylin. Hi, Sierra, Dennis, Zagar, Nicola. All right. Anybody pick a product, sell a product, list a new product? Any new people got any new things going on? We've got some really cool stuff going on tonight. Let's see who else. People are Facebooking me now. All right. Next week, yes, the backyard being. If it was the sunset. I sent a picture. I'll post some pictures tonight on the Gorillas page. If you go to my personal Facebook page, I actually posted a picture up there, actually, of the backyard of where I was at last night and where I'll be back tomorrow. I'm looking at several products on Amazon. One of the things, cupcake molds, and I'm selling them. Shelly is on it. I actually signed up for App Eagle to reprice for you. Sold my first bundle that was listed the third day. So that must have been an added one. Hello, everybody. Hey, May, how are you? Welcome to the party. Welcome to our Tuesday night Jungle Jam, the Jungle Jam. Hey, everybody, by the way, last week I spoke about it. If you go to either the Facebook page, first of all, AmazonGorillas.com is getting more and better every week. I keep adding new things to it. I'm not a website builder, so it's taken me a little bit to get some things on there, and I keep adding new content. I think all of the YouTube videos are up there, maybe one missing. The Hangouts are up there. But if you'll go there and you can listen, I'm still dealing with iTunes with a little bit of problem, but the second podcast is up, and it's called That's Total BSR. So if you haven't done that, David, how do you get kicked out of ASM 5? What did you do? What did you do, David? What seller tools do you reckon the most Amazon for sellers? Sellers tools, Shelly, we use, I think a lot of people here will tell you what we use. We like AmaSuite to basically coordinate down and filter down the kind of products that we want. And then we also use, once we find those products, we're able to look at categories and find out how much they're selling. So the other thing that we use is Jungle Scout. So that's what most people here, I would suggest that, oh, right. Looking at my hand? Well, David, guess what? We will help you, buddy. Don't worry about affording. You can spend that money on getting new products, and we'll, with the groups of people that you're involved with now, we'll be able to get you, we'll be able to move you forward quicker than those guys will by far. When you talk to Paul later, when you get on there, Paul is from ASM, and we'll have him tell you a little bit of background with me and how we got together. He'll explain to you how much, you know, ASM helped him and what kind of product he ended up with from ASM. Next week, we're going to talk about picking products again. We're going to talk about, and I haven't named it yet, but it'll basically be, we're going to go over my basic strategy to get people started. And we're going to figure out actually what too little competition looks like and what too much competition, and kind of give you the 5 ingredients of what a product looks like when you look at it online. So that'll help you be able to maybe coordinate, and I guess it'll help anybody to kind of get some ideas and see if it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you on how to implement it into what your business is. So we're going to go over, hey, what too little competition looks like and what too much competition. So next week's going to be a product search and how to get better at finding a product. So next week, if you're still looking for products, that will be hopefully everybody. I get that question all the time. So next week, we're really going to focus on finding products next week. So, and I'm going to reveal basically the 5-step strategy that I use to help find products and how I help other people find products. I had 4 or 5 requests this week from people want me to find their product, and I'm like, I can't pick your product for you. If I pick your product for you, the problem is then you'll blame me if your product fails, and I don't have control over the whole thing. So if I have control over every aspect, I'll pick you a product. If you just want to give me money and we'll try to make money with it, then I may be interested in picking a product. But if you want me to pick your product for you, then I don't do that. So I help people narrow down their products. I help them, but they ultimately got to pick their product because they're the ones that are going to have to deal with it. They're the ones that are going to have to sell it, and they're going to have to make decisions. And I can't make everybody's decisions because, you know, yes, Stan, we're always looking for product. There's Stan the man from Tallahassee, Florida. So, yeah, we're always looking for products. So tonight's show is going to be about finding products. First thing you got to do. So next week's show is going to be about actually what leads up to this show. So next week, we're going to talk about getting your product. That shows, James, on Sundays, all we do is we just hang out like Travis did the other day. Thank you, by the way, Travis. Thank you so much. I could not get online. Yes, Sidra, I will, before the show's over, I will post for you the Jungle Scout link as well. Sunday's webinar, I believe, was recorded. I have not found it yet, Norman. I'll look and make sure that it went on my page because that's how we set it up. I'm pretty confident it did. I also cannot afford all the initial software to get started. So, like, if you guys don't, Rick, you don't have $100 If you don't have $100, well, then you're far off from getting started anyway. So you may have to get back and go do some more retail arbitrage to get yourself started. Guys, the minimum you got to have to actually get a sample order and get in this process, you're going to have $1,000. Anything below that, you're just not able to order enough and jump through some of these hoops. So software, Jungle Scout costs $89, and you can get AmaSuite for as low as $37 for 3 months. So Sean says it is recorded on YouTube from Sunday. Yes, Travis did great. Thank you again. Travis is going to be hopefully helping us at the Gorillas do some more stuff, and we've got some cool plans with that. Has anybody last week's webinar we did on Tuesday, we talked about getting ungated. Has anybody spoken with Johnny Shoes, my friend John? There's Travis's link to that. Thank you, Travis. So anybody else, hey, did anybody else get ungated this week? I want to make sure, because I think one of the cool things that happened to me, I know at least I saw, yes, David, Mindy Project is on. Let me ask her right now. She put her, if you go to the Mindy Project, it's on the front page. She put up a new video. So I'm going to ask Mindy right now. Mindy, what's your next step?
I have to get ungated.
For what?
For bidding.
Okay. So who charge? Johnny Shoes charges for being ungated. His prices, I think, range from one. What does who charge? I don't know. Sean, I did get ungated for shoes and clothes on Sunday. Look at that. Shoes and clothes, working on it. So, but I know I saw several people this week get ungated, and I hope that that's from some of the information, and as well as sharing that information. I know Sean shared some information with some other people, and some people shared him some information. So guys, that's where this group right here is, where we all can participate, and when we see somebody who needs it, I mean, a lot of these things in the paperwork are exactly the same for everybody. As a matter of fact, I know some people who copied each other's paperwork and sent it in. So all right, so anybody want to get started? Travis just listed a bunch of stuff. Well, that's good. We like it when it's 100% ROI. Charge for ungating, Shelly. It's between $150 and $399, depending on what you need, or what categories you want in. But about $400 for him. There's people out there a little less. It just depends on what you want to do. I know that they'll set it all up and do it for you. You don't have to touch it. What's the minimum dollars you need to launch a successful brand? I hear it's $3,000 to $4,000 minimum. Is that right? Travis used the Walmart method. Yes. Key is to send late at night. So if you're going to be trying to get ungated at night, David, I'm not of the opinion that you need to launch a whole product, but to find a product to get started, I feel like for $1,500, because if you're not buying, I think you should be spending about $700 on a sample order of less than 100. See what that is, and then you can go to that next step and return the money. So yes, you're right. $3,500 is probably the number you need to do. But my strategy is this: is to find and launch 2 or 3 products at the same time. You put them out there, and you do sample initial orders on 3 of them. So instead of going and spending all $2,500 on one, I'm going to go buy 50 of this item, 100 of this item, and, you know, depending on what their cost is. And my costs are usually, you know, $1 to $3. So if a $1 to $3 product, if you buy 100, it's $300. So, and then I'm going to give away part of them, and I'm going to do some promotion to see if any of them catch it off. I get any traction, then I'll go put my money back into these other products. So that's kind of just how I do it. What is the Walmart method? Yeah, you're going to need, I mean, but if you're going to do a full-fledged launch and you're going to have a bunch of stuff, you're going to need 3 to 5. That's a, you know, but listen, if you're resourceful and you can figure it out, there's a million, you know. I did 90 products from Walmart for beauty, health, and a person and grocery. Took 15 minutes after I submitted at night. Yes, night is always better. And then he took it all back. That's hilarious. Listen, you don't even, if you get someone else, guys, you guys can. Yes, Stan, I source from China. Yep. All right, let's get started here, boys and girls.
Diesel.
Adam says he thinks 3,000 to 5,000 is low. Well, so my deal is I'm going to order a sample, then I'm going to get an initial sample order because I'm only testing. Has anybody ever watched Gold? What is it? Gold Rush, where those guys are out there and they're digging for gold all the time. And one of the things that I saw early on in that series was that these guys, when they first went out, they just start digging the gold. Well, then this guy named Tony B, who is an old-time gold miner, has been up there in Alaska forever, he showed them, listen, what you need to do is you need to take a drill and you need to do test holes. And so he would dig down in, and then they'd check and see whether there was gold in the bottom of that thing. And then he would do tons and tons of these test holes. That's the same thing I think you need to do with an initial sample order, which is an order that you can go out there and find out whether there's a market in that environment. And it's, you know, 50 to 100 items depending on your price. So if it's a $2 item, then you buy 200 of them, not 1,000 of them. If you're buying a $5 item, then you don't order more than $500. But I wouldn't spend more than $500 on product. I'd get it back, I'd run a promotion on it, but I would do that with 3 products. So now for $1,500, you got 500, 500, 500. So you got 3 different products you can test, find out, or do them one at a time. So that means for $500, you get a product, but you need another $500 to promote. So once you get both of those, then my suggestion is then you move, once you find that, and once you dig and you find something that's got a little traction, you've sold some stuff and not just sat there and done nothing, then that's when I think you dive in and you go spend $3,000 to $5,000 to launch a product. Just a different theory, just how I think it gives you a little bit more safety. Kyle Weimer says, I lost my free with $1,825 with 500 units, logo on the product and shipping, $1,000 paperclip, definitely doable. So there's Travis, or there's Kyle did it for $3,000, 500 units. See, I would just go, see, the difference with me and Kyle, I would just be down, I would want to be down lower because I want to be able to test multiple products out when I do it. That's my point. Because people do that, so you cannot get yourself caught up in 500 products that don't sell, because people make, I mean, it also will save people from their own death, which is going and buying 500 products and 500 products they chose the wrong product. What if you choose the wrong product? And I see people choose the wrong product every day, and I think, oh Lord, how much of product you got? And actually, you may even talk to Paul, and he'll tell you about his product that he chose after he got through ASM. All right, so Diesel the Dancing Dog's here with me, and he just got back from searching for jungle gold himself, and all he found was empty holes when he went out there. He wanted to get himself a gold-plated iPhone. So, and he said he wanted to impress the ladies with it. So I don't know what you're doing, Diesel Dog. I'm glad you guys joined me out tonight for Jungle Tubes TV's webinar number 6. And you can see all of the webinars I do at my Rob Fortney YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and look up Rob Fortney, I think there's still a couple over Amazon Gorillas, but we're trying to move them over to Rob Fortney. That's where it just ends up being. Tonight's show, we're going to show you how to source safely in China. And if you haven't got a chance to listen to the podcast is on iTunes and it's under Rob Fortney if you want to check that out. The podcast episode number 2 just launched, which is called That's Total BSR. You can join us every Tuesday night right here at 8 o'clock. Next week's Jungle Jam, so this is the 8th. So what's next Tuesday? I'm not even going to remember that. So today's the 7th. It's like the 2nd or 3rd. I'll tell you what it is here at the end of the show. So tonight we have a special guest, and our special guest is Phoebe Adams, better known as Paul, and he has been dealing with Far Eastern suppliers for the last 20 years, and the last 15 of those years in China, from finding suitable manufacturing partners, auditing and factories and negotiating deals and getting contracts signed, then working with specific suppliers to produce those products to specification, ensuring that all the quality criteria were met before those products were shipped. The type of products he sourced have included industrial engineering products, dedicated tooling for plastic, molded parts, consumer electronics, giftware, toys, as well as general consumer goods and products specifically for the Amazon seller. Tonight, I hope that we can help you avoid some common mistakes and help you avoid business-ending product sourcing risks that you may not be able to foresee. There's Paul. Paul's going to talk a little bit about what he's going to talk about tonight. So, Paul, it's all you, sir.
Thank you, Rob. Hi, guys. Good to see you all. I hope you can hear me okay and see me okay. Not the prettiest face in the world, nowhere near as handsome as Rob there, but hey, Rob, what's happening with you're not getting more handsome every week? I didn't hear that one this week. Hey, come on, I can't take that. I can't take that one. Anyway, sourcing from China, yes, I've been doing it for some time. Worn the t-shirt, worn it out several times. Basically, what I want to go over tonight, what we're going to talk about, is sort of why do you source from China to start with? There's the more obvious ones, there's some less obvious ones. Finding a suitable supplier, we're going to touch on Alibaba, we're going to touch on AliExpress. Okay, then due diligence as an important aspect of any sourcing project, whether it's for the Amazon seller or the sort of the large corporate industrial clients and people I've worked for in the past. Contacting the supplier is obviously an important aspect we need to look at. Well, I've got some templates. I know, Travis, you showed your templates that you use on Sunday. They're all pretty much the same. Don't send in pages and pages and pages. Just keep it simple. I've got a couple I can share with you, and you can have those later on to adapt for yourselves. Quick supplier background check as part of the due diligence. I explain one or two things you can do yourself instead of. It's quite difficult to check some of these aspects, but I'll give you a few tips on how to check and on what to look for if you're checking out some of these suppliers yourself. Sampling. Rob's already talked about sampling. It's an important part of any sourcing project. And for us guys selling on Amazon, we need to know what we're looking at. We need to know what we're going to sell. A lot of the time, for those people that are not in America, it's very difficult to get samples or pre-production samples to your door, then send the whole lot into FBA. So it's one of those things we can talk about there. Safe ways to pay. How do you pay your suppliers? I'll give some examples of what not to do. For example, I'll also cover the best options for you. Inspections. We'll look at some inspection processes and why it's important to have inspections at certain levels, I would say. Shipping and logistics, just give you a quick overview. I'm not a shipping and logistics guy. I'm not a freight forwarder. But I've got a very good freight forwarder. We've got a very great freight forwarder that we use, and I can share some basic prices from them so you can compare, just to make sure that your guys are in the ballpark. Global sourcing, we deal with all sorts, David. We deal with business to business platforms in China that are only in Chinese. We deal with going direct to the manufacturer. We can tap into various different sources that you can't find. Also want to, there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's a bit scary going to China. Yeah, it can be. And even the seasoned buyers come unstuck every now and again. I've got a couple of emails I can share with you, just from experienced people that have been doing sourcing for some time, and they've come unstuck basically, and I can share their stories with you, and basically how to overcome that. And hopefully we've got some time for question and answers at the end. And if we've got time after that, Travis, you can come and explain your warm-up theory. So, okay, so that's basically what I want to talk about tonight. I'm not an AliExpress expert, but I know, Rob, you've sort of done one or two things on AliExpress. You've probably got a better understanding of how that operates. So I'll let you chip in at that particular. That's all right. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna share. I've got a set of slides here, and I think these slides are available. Rob's already made them available in the group. If you haven't got them, grab them afterwards. Feel free to use them, have a look through them, use them as reference points. If you've got any questions, just come back to either one of us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on.
By the way, I'm actually making the link for next Sunday. People asked a question about next Sunday. I'm going to send out links for both next week's and this week's, or the next two webinars tonight, so you'll have them tonight before you leave.
All right, can everybody see? Rob, is that your dad? Is that your brother? I'm not sure. Joke. What I'm saying, can everybody see my screen? Oh, I'm hoping so. All right, let's see if this works. All right, why source China? The obvious one is the number one reason for choosing China as a company to source your products from is cost. Everybody knows that it's a low economic resource. It has been for some time, saying that the prices are coming up. But it still doesn't mean that it's the best option. It's very cost effective to source your products from China. So the second reason, and maybe not the one that you automatically think about, is that you automatically know it's just the sheer number of resources and suppliers that you can reach out to. How many silicone spatula manufacturers are there in America versus how many silicone spatula manufacturers are there in China, for example? It's just the sheer volume of manufacturers that are available to you in China. And the third reason, it's just the logical place, simply because of they make everything. Yeah, and it's one of those things that if you're sourcing locally from your country, whether that be United States of America, England, out of Mongolia, wherever, it doesn't matter. You are relatively limited to what that country supplies, whereas in China, they tend to make everything. They make everything, basically. Now, not everything is suitable to be sourced from China. Now, if you're in the health and beauty or something like the supplements, don't source your products from China. As in, if you consume something, as in you put it inside your body, I would advise you stick with a source from America. If you've got lotions and everything like this, or skin treatment, I would suggest that you stick with America. Basically, everything else is up for grabs. So let's have a look at how we can make sourcing in China safely, or as safe as possible. There's a basic process And basically the process is we find a suitable supplier. Okay, we run the background check on the suppliers. We negotiate pricing and minimum order quantities. When we get the samples from your shortlist, place the order, you pay the guys, you inspect them, ship the products out. Sounds easy. Sounds easy. In reality, it is relatively easy. So let's have a look at some of the details on where we go. But I'm going to focus this more on the audience we've got here at the moment, which is the Amazon buyer seller, as in you're buying products and selling them on Amazon or on your own e-commerce store, and just using Amazon as an initial platform to leverage your business. Right, finding suitable suppliers. There are a number of different platforms, as we know it. So the top one, or the top two, I guess, business-to-business platforms in China are Alibaba and AliExpress. You need to sign up on both. That's not a problem, they're free. But that allows you to then contact the suppliers within their own chat and email platform. So just sign up. If you're not a member already, just go into those sites and sign up and become a member. Now, Alibaba, on there, you've got a mix of manufacturers, you've got wholesalers, trading companies, and you will potentially find the guy in the basement trying to pretend he's one of these. And this is why we need to do some due diligence later on. But if you don't know, I'll just go through the obvious here. What's the difference between those three? A manufacturer, they have a factory. They're set up to physically produce and manufacture the products. Okay, whether that be a consumer electronics cell phone or your silicone spatula. They are the guys that physically make it. They've got the tools, they've got the equipment, they've got the machinery, they've got the factory, they've got the workforce to do it. A wholesaler is somebody like Walmart, or somebody like Amazon, or somebody like you, that's got their own business, and they've set up a business, and it's a legitimate company, but they buy products from a number of different manufacturers. And you often see it on there if you're in the kitchen space, for example, and you'll want to go from silicone spatulas, you want to expand your range to silicone baking mats, for example. Now, one manufacturer may not do both, but a wholesaler probably would. They would buy the silicone spatulas from one manufacturer, they would buy the silicone baking mats from another, and they would be able to offer you the full spectrum of kitchen products within the silicone space, for example. So I'm just preaching the obvious, but just in case you don't know. Trading companies, they are guys, now the wholesaler would have a fairly large warehouse, potentially a pretty good stock. The trading company, on the other hand, is more than likely going to be a number of guys based in an office. And they do the deals with either the wholesalers, or if they've got close enough relationships with a manufacturer, they'll strike up a deal with a manufacturer. But your trading company will be a set of guys, or a team in an office, in a nice office block, basically. Okay, no problems with using any of those three. As long as you do your due diligence, make sure that they're a legitimate company, make sure they've got the right trading license, which I'll go into later on. The difference is you're going to get a better price if you get closer to the manufacturer. The further out you come from that manufacturer, your price is going to go up. But on the flip side of that, on the good side of that, you're going to get a better MOQ with somebody like a trading company or a wholesaler than you probably would with a manufacturer. And again, this is really, really product dependent and relationship dependent. So if you've got a very good long-standing relationship with a manufacturer, you can say to them, hey guys, I'm going to expand again. You know, I'm looking for my number 6 product, number 5 product, whatever the case may be. What have you got? Let's look at something. Let's manufacture it. Let's give me a trial order for a few hundred, and everything's good. But you need to build up that that relationship first. So that's the Alibaba space and how that works, basically. AliExpress, maybe Rob, you can just do a quick minute on AliExpress and how that works in comparison to manufacturers, wholesalers, and trading companies, yeah, and the sizes of what is available on there. Because on Alibaba, your minimum order is going to be stated, you know, 3,000, 10,000, 5,000. You know, very, very often you will not be able to find a minimum order quantity of 1, for example. And I think, Rob, you can maybe explain the difference between that and AliExpress.
Sure. Well, a couple things I want to touch about just on, you know, when you're getting there. And here's just some basic things that I think people just avoid. First of all, remember, you're dealing with somebody 6,000 miles away. You need just to ask. And they're not, listen, asking somebody if they have the right documentation to somebody who has it isn't a problem. I mean, you are dealing with someone 6 foot. Don't feel bad about asking. Like, don't feel intimidated. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, don't waste your money throwing money away because you didn't ask them. So first thing is look, avoid the ones that just jump out at you that you know. If you have a bad feeling, you know, so don't jump into things when there are obvious warning signs. If you're sourcing from Alibaba, you know, or other places similar to that, so you want to avoid anything that has free accounts, unrestricted accounts, or any kind of account that seems relatively easy to set up. You don't want to do business with people like that. You might want to read about Alibaba's gold system. Now, the deal with Alibaba's gold system, that people have to pay money, but it's a lot more likely that someone, if they've paid that money to have a gold system for several times, now that's not something. It is just the sum total of the things. But if somebody doesn't even have a gold supply, they're not even paying, then there's certainly no reason you should even be talking to them. The gold supplier is not what you're really wanting to deal with, but it at least gives you to start pushing people off and going, no, this person, no, this person. Because as you guys have all found out, which I've found out a million times, is dealing and getting anything done, anything quick in China seems to take forever. So, you know, they just don't communicate at the rate we do. You just have to be very, very pushy to get them to run through their stuff sometimes. So AliExpress. Well, AliExpress is basically, I mean, it's pretty much the same as what Amazon is, but they sell much lower MOQs. Now, I would say very few of them are manufacturers. That's not to say that there aren't manufacturers on there. Smaller companies. It's a lot of people who have retail stores who get stuff in and they sell them out wholesale, you know, on the back, because they can obviously source products from right there. The greatest things, there's 2 great things that I love about AliExpress. First, your MOQs are small, and that's part of my strategy, which means you should, once you find a product, I think if you can find it, you need to find somebody that will sell you an MOQ smaller than what you would normally buy as your first product. Saying that, so if you're going to get your first product, I don't think you should go buy 500 or 1,000 of them and spend $2,000. I'm saying go get yourself 100 or 50 of them, get them here, make sure that there's a market for your product, because I see people, like, I understand when you believe this is the greatest product on earth, but I mean, I can introduce you to 500 people that ordered a product they thought was great, and lots of them own, I won't even pull out products because some of you may even have those products, and I don't want to break your heart right now. But there's lots of products I see out there that people are buying. I had somebody buy, I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to hold back. I don't want anybody to be disappointed if I say someone's product. But at the end of the deal, you can go to AliExpress, and the great thing about AliExpress is that you can go look at a product. You can go get one of those products, get that one product shipped to you as a sample. It usually will arrive from AliExpress between 5 and 10, 15 days. you know, if you talk to them and communicate with them, you can pretty much set that up. Get your one sample. If it's what you want, then go ahead. Now, I actually, if I know a product's close to what I want, I'll order 50 of them out of the gate, because by the time I ship them and, you know, and mess with them, I'll get 50 of them here, and I'll just test those 50 out, because I'm usually talking about, you know, a $2 product, so it's $100 or $200 by the time I'm done, $300. But here's the great thing about AliExpress, and the reason I like it is because AliExpress does this. It's because AliExpress is the credit card processor in this situation. Meaning AliExpress is the person that makes the choice. There we go. How about this? That's me. AliExpress is the one that makes the choice or processes your credit card, basically. And so it's not like there's this company out there that's processing your credit card. It's very much the way it is on Amazon. So AliExpress guarantees a couple of things which are really great. So if you don't receive your order, you get a full refund. Okay? If it doesn't deliver, and it doesn't deliver on the time promised by the seller, you get a full refund. You can get a full or partial refund if the item is not as described. So if the item's not what they said it was, you get it there, the materials aren't right, whatever, you can return it and get a full, or get a partial refund and keep the item sometimes. Because here's the deal, people don't want to get kicked off AliExpress. So if they're just like Amazon, you can get your account disabled and you're off of there. All products that are shipped domestically can be returned as long as they are unused and in perfect condition, no questions asked. So, and here's the other thing, they guarantee they're genuine. Now, we had somebody the other day that I was working with who got a product that's certainly not genuine. So if it falls under that, you can get a full refund. And I believe they just started a new program with AliExpress where if you get a fake product, they'll refund, I think it's 3 times the amount of what the product cost you. Make sure I see where that's at. So, but anyway, so they started a new program there. And so it's a lot easier to not have your product and not be at risk so much, because you're not, your money's not sitting out there with somebody. And we're going to talk about payment and how to secure payment and the best ways to secure payment. But the point is that AliExpress gives you an option to get started without having to risk large amounts of money. And then if you find, so if I source a new product and I find it, I get it on AliExpress, I ship it, I put up, I've got a $1 product right now that I sourced for $1, cost me $1.15 to get it. I got 500 of them, and then I combined it with something else. So I created, you know, a package, and then I put it in its own product and branded it with those 2 things. Now that's where I started. And then what happened is I've now been able to find that same product, and I sourced it directly, but my MOQ was 3,000. So I went from, you know, from what I think it's 500. I think I did 500, and then I went to 3,000 now. But listen to this. So for the 3,000, I was able to get them at 39 cents. So there's a difference, 39 cents to $1.15, but the money still worked at the $1.15, and it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to knock a home run out on the first, you know, the first set of products. So anyway, that's my theory there on AliExpress. I think it's a great way to start, certainly for new people. If you can get lower, I just think the first time you do something, a lower MOQ makes sense so that you can test the product, because there's too many people out there investing $2,000 of their last $2,000 of money on selfie sticks and barbecue gloves and French coffee presses, and they're risking all their money out there. And I did just mention people's products. If you own any of those products, you're gonna have to work really hard. I'm sorry. But you're able to then go out there and be able to test whether or not, so you can get a dozen French coffee presses, and see if you can sell them. If you can't sell a dozen, it's the same as not selling 500, but you only got 12 and you don't have 500. So that would just be my suggestion if you don't have a large money to get started. Listen, my deal is I'm gonna drill test holes before I go and invest large amounts of money. Now, to me, spending $3,000 to $5,000 for a product I don't know if it's going to sell, then, you know. Anyway, Norman says he wants to sell. Hey, Paul, are you ready to come back and talk to us?
Yeah, we're cool. We can roll. I apologize if the image has been a little bit blurry. I've got a couple of monitors here. I've changed monitor. I don't know whether that's going to help or not. It's like I said, these slides are available. You can grab these, you can download them, you can ingest them, you can go through them. You can throw them away if you want. But they're basically.
If you look in the chat box right now, I'm going to throw up the, it's under documents when you go to amazongorillas.com, and you can pull them up and go through them right now. It's under the documents when you go to the main page in Amazon Gorillas. There's a thing that says documents. You'll click on there, and it's on that page so you can look at it.
That's cool. Thank you, Rob. Right, I'm going to carry on. So basically, we've got two platforms that we can look at. We can look at the Alibaba, the AliExpress. There are a lot of other ones, like I said earlier. But these are the two that everybody seems to go towards. So this is why we're talking about that tonight. Okay. Right. It's some due diligence. I'm not sure. I'm hoping this is going to work. I need to check here. Gold supplier. On-site check, supplier assessment. Okay, they're the three things that you really should be looking at on Alibaba. Okay, the gold supplier. Rob mentioned this earlier. It's purely a paid-up membership to become a supplier on Alibaba. That's it, nothing else. Okay, but what it does say is that those people that have been around a long time, they're obviously able and they're willing and they want to be shown as a gold supplier. So if you've got a gold supplier that's showing up for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, I think it was 1990, whatever it was that Mr. May set up Alibaba, that these guys have been around a long time. Doesn't mean to say that the guys that have only got the gold star for 1 year, you should stick away from, no. You know, but it's just one. All I'm saying is it's just a paid-up membership. Okay. The on-site check. Now, this is a verification from Alibaba themselves, where somebody from Alibaba will go to that physical premises. Now, focus on the word premises. I didn't say factory because some of the trading companies are gold suppliers. Trading companies operate from the office. Okay. Which is fine. So Alibaba staff will physically go to that premises, check they have the business license. It's very important to have the correct business license in China. You can't operate or sell outside of what your license agreement is. Okay, so they check that, take a copy of it, photograph it, scan it, keep it in their database. Check the contact person and make sure the information is correct with what they're listing on their site. Okay, so basically it's a check from Alibaba. Right? Supplier assessment, and this is where a third party will get involved, where they'll assess everything that the on-site check does, but it's more in depth. It's a better control. Right? They look at deeper inside the products. Now, all of this information is on, if I can do this, I don't know. No, I can't. I've already got it loaded here. So basically, bear with me. I'm going to flick over to the other screen. If you can see that, that's showing the Alibaba gold supplier description. Okay, I'm not going to go through it now, right? But that's basically where it is. When you get the documents, these are all hyperlinked. So you should be able to click on that, and that'll take you straight to the right area. But basically what it's saying is it's a paid up membership to Alibaba. Okay, so that's basically what it is. The on-site check is pretty much what I said. You know, this is the icon that you'll see against the individual suppliers' listings, and it's a pretty good icon, so you can filter on these. And it's basically what it's saying is Alibaba verified that the supplier that wants to become a gold supplier, a paid up membership, has got the thumbs up. Okay, what do they check for? The business license, the business type. Like I said, it's important for the supplier to sell, manufacture, or deal in what their license states. So that's a cross check here. The company and the factory location. Is it the same as what they're listing? I'll go through some horror stories later with respect to.
Hello? Did we lose you, Paul? We might have lost you, Paul. Yes, Paul. That's what happens when you're in Asian countries across the world. Sometimes you lose each other. Paul, come back to us. Paul, come back to us. There, are you back? Paul.
Yeah.
I think I got you.
I need to check.
Okay.
Okay, can you see?
I can see it.
Cool. Let's carry on. Right, so all of these are hyperlinked. When you get that document, these are hyperlinked, guys. Okay, so you can go in there and just double check. Supplier assessment is basically the more in-depth version of the on-site check. Okay. Contacting suppliers. Okay, so basically what we've done now is you've got your product, you know what you want to go for. You're going to go for, stick your neck out, go for the silicone spatula as an example. All right, so you've found some suitable suppliers. Okay, you've done a little bit of checking. You know, you've got a gold star member, so that's all good. Contacting suppliers. There are a number of ways that you can contact a supplier. Alibaba has its own chat platform, so you can. This is quite useful if you would just want to reach out to a supplier and just say, hi guys, I like the look of your website or your listing on Alibaba. I noticed you do the silicone spatulas, but I'm interested in a fluorescent blue one. Do you do that? And they'll come back with their answer. If there's a yes, then you say, great, fantastic. I always suggest you follow up with an email, and if preferable, get their Skype ID. Skype ID is important because you can start to build up a good relationship. I'll go through some of that again later on. But once you've got that initial chat out of the way, make sure that there's somebody on the end of the chat, and you ask for sort of some basic information. Get the emails, and get an email address. Then you can go into the email template and send out the questions with respect to what you're after. Now, it's important that you come across as professional. If you always want to, let's face it, you are a professional. You've got your own business, right? Your business, you're building it. Right? And who's to say that you're not going to be, if some of you are not already, you know, the head of a multi-million corporation that just so happens to be selling your own private brands, and that's all of these companies are out there. So come across a professional. The email template. I'm gonna flip around again, guys. Travis, I know that you shared your basic email templates on Sunday. My suggestion is keep it simple. Keep it simple. A lot of the guys, when they're chatting with you in China, their English seems to come across as pretty okay. But you'll sometimes find if you're on live chat or if you're on Skype, there's some sort of delay. Now, maybe this is what I know for a fact, this is the case. But what they're doing is they're taking in what you've written. If they don't understand some of the words, they will jump over to Google or whatever it is being in China, and they will do a translation. If you send them a 2-page email explaining who you are, what your insights are, and where you want to be in 5 years' time, and how great the relationships that you want to build with them, and by the way, do you sell a blue silicone spatula? The chances of them taking it and understanding it is very, very slim. Keep it simple. 2 simple emails I've got here. Got no idea what you can see at the moment. Hold on. You can still see contacting suppliers, correct? Right, can you see that? Hello, my name is, and you put your name in, okay? And I represent company XYZ. We're a product and development distribution company with primary operations in the US. This is just one format, and you can go through different formats. These templates, again, you can have these. I'll send them over to Rob, and then you can upload them. So you've got these. Basically, we're looking for a product, silicone spatula, and we've found that you supply these on Alibaba, right? And here's the listing. Give them the URL of the page that you're interested in from their listing, because they will ask you what product do you like, what's the number. So give them that URL or the code or some reference to the product you're actually looking at within their listing. So basically, I'm interested in placing an order for the product. After review of the product sample, I'm happy to pay for the samples and cost of the shipping. Now, normally, again, I'll go into this later, normally the cost of product is free. There's going to be your shipping, there's going to be 30 to 100 bucks, basically. Now, you want to know how to pay for the samples, so ask for it. So PayPal is preferred for samples, in my case anyway. So this is one basic template you can have. Another one would be this. I hope you can see that. It's so my name is Paul Adams. I'm contacting you on behalf of my company, so it's not me as an individual. We sell on Amazon.com. So here I'll change it slightly. We're now selling on Amazon instead of just in the USA. And we're looking to expand our product range. We're interested in your silicone baking mat. So we're expanding the range from spatulas to baking mats now. Could you let me know if you're able to private brand or private label, add our product logo, unique packaging? So ask the questions that you're interested in finding out. To start with, we'd like the opportunity of putting the product through a customer test phase. So you're already setting the scene for lower minimum order quantities to start with. But before aggressively expanding, so therefore you're showing that your intentions are to grow the business and grow the orders. Please provide a quotation for the following order quantities. 100 off, 1,000 off, 5,000. And so the 100 off would obviously be your test phase. Assuming that this is one of the products that does actually work out for you, you can then go back to order more. Now, whether that be 1,000, 500, whatever the case may be. But it's important to understand what the price breaks are. Obviously, the greater the quantity, hoping that you're going to see a better product cost per unit, and that's normally the case. That's normally the case. Okay. And here for your earliest convenience. Many different types and styles of this. I know, Rob, you've got your own. Travis, you've got your own. Everyone's got their own. What I'm saying is just keep it simple. Whatever it is, just keep it simple. Write down your one by one. Don't overcomplicate it. If it's too complicated, it'll probably get passed up and not replied to at all.
Hey, by the way, Paul.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
So yeah, I think the number one thing is realize that the longer you make your email, the more complicated it is, though 100% likely that they're going to interpret what you say wrong. Make sure that you don't use colloquialisms. Don't use things, statements. And I catch myself all the time. Listen, I'm telling you, I write them so simple. Hey, listen, tell me how much your product is. I mean, keep it basic. You're dealing with somebody likely. I'm not saying all the time, but there's definitely a likelihood, probably 98% of the time, they're dealing with somebody who's not a native speaker of the English language. So no matter what you say, there's some of that stuff going through Google Translator. And by the way, if anybody's got any fun phrases that you've heard inside of your emails, go ahead and put them in the chat box. I always like to read them. So if you've heard any fun ways in which the Chinese talk to you, definitely put some in there. I'll share some with you in a minute. But if you look in the chat box right now, I also listed there's 2 links there to 2 really good articles. One's from Shopify, and then one's from a company that does verifications, background checks for people. So if you want to go take a look at it, there's some really good information on both of those pages so that you could go and take a look and get some more information on what we're talking about. But those links are very cool to help you out. So a couple of things I saw in the chat box. A1, so again, I would suggest that you continue staying with AliExpress. I think that it makes more sense that along the way, that once you get because usually it's going to take you 2 orders, because your first order is going to come in. Let's say you get 100 products. You go through and you sell 20 of them in the first 2 weeks. Well, now you know you got something. So while you still have some inventory, you go back and order a second order. So you got a second order coming, and you can still cover those so you can continue to sell and continue to promote. Then while those are on the way, then you start getting down and dirty about sourcing a product from a manufacturer to get it to you, because now you know you got a product that works. Now you got another thing that you can go, okay, I know I can invest more money. I'm already selling them. I'm already succeeding. I may not be making as much money as I'm gonna make, but it doesn't matter. I'm not there. So in the case of my product, if I sourced it at 39 cents to begin with and I ordered 3,000 of them, well, then all of a sudden when I don't sell them, I'm stuck with 3,000 of them. I'd rather be stuck with 200 of them and give it away to everybody and only have 500 bucks in the whole thing. So that's just a couple background things on it. So if you've heard any great, I hope be friends with any person who contact me on our website and do their favors if possible. Yes, that's a perfect one. I hope be friends, and they always say dear all the time, like dear brother, dear. I mean, it's because it's words coming out of Google Translator. So anyway, go ahead, Paul, get back. I'm sorry. I like to jump in there and kind of catch up.
Well, that was perfect timing, because when you were talking, my internet went down and just come back up again. So hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to the Far East, guys. Welcome to the Far East. Okay. Rob dropped a link into a company. In fact, I used to live in Shanghai for 4 years some time back, and that particular company just around the corner from my old apartment. So I know of them. I don't know the guys that run it, but yeah, good. But if you want to do a quick supplier background check yourself, there's a few little techniques and tricks that you really should be looking at. One is obviously use the filters within Alibaba itself, i.e. the gold filter, the on-site check, and the assessment, supplier assessment. So use those by all means. Sometimes on the supplier assessment, they do have a video that has been verified from an external third-party supplier, like TUV or something like this. So they're always good. But if you can't get those all the time, do the following. Okay, check if the supplier has a website. If they have, cross-check the details or the contact details from the website are the same as what they are on Alibaba. Check the phone number, check the address, check email contacts. They should be the same throughout wherever that company is listed. You can always do a Google search for that particular company. And make sure you got continuity across all platforms. Okay, that's one thing. If you can't do that, it's basically on Alibaba you can find out virtually everything, and a lot of the times, yes, there are occasions where you can get scammed, but it's getting less and less. If you do your due diligence, you've got to do your background check, guys. You've got to do this. If you can't establish whether, or if you're not particularly happy on the checks that you can do yourself, it's not that easy to do inside China checking because everything's in Chinese. Now, if you can read Chinese, fine, you could probably do it. You need to find out the registration number. You need to find out where that registration certificate was issued from, what province, basically. And there's a website now. I can check it out later. I haven't got it for you at the moment. But it's in Chinese, and you have to go through the correct province and basically ask them, does this company exist? The company with the link that Rob just put in, they'll do it for I can't remember what the pricing was, $150. Basically, use a professional third-party sourcing organization like China Checkup. Okay, those guys will give you a very good comprehensive certificate with their findings. Okay, so that's my recommendation now. But like I said, there is simple things that you can do by yourself. Make sure you've got continuity. That's the key thing. Okay, samples, right? What do we do with samples? Obviously, you've got your product.
Hey, 1 second. Hey, so one other thing, a couple things that you could still kind of look at, and you can also, if you can work on it, at least asking them for these things, and if they can produce them, this helps. It's just kind of the ways in which I trick, which is, hey, I want to get your bank account license, you know, and which allows them to be able to have a bank account. It's basically like an account thing, but it's a government official, so a bank account license, and then isn't also the business scope, the business type and business scope on their other business license. Those are two things that I want to see and that I'll ask. So anyway, both of those things, if you want to explain a little bit more about that, you can, Paul. I just know that those are two things. They also talk about them in on that China Checkup too. But those are two things I think that add a little bit more security. Because ultimately, listen, you know, you may not want to spend the $100 on a background check on a company. If you don't, I understand that. But for sure, if I'm gonna spend money, I'm either spend it on a inspection or I'm gonna spend it on a background check. One of the two. So, because if you don't, then that's where your biggest risk is going to come in. Go ahead, Paul.
No, you're absolutely right, Rob. You're absolutely right. There's a number of things that you can ask for, and that's basically what Rob was saying there. You can ask for, you can basically, one of the easiest things is just do a Skype video chat, Skype video call. Show me around your factory. I'm really interested. I've never been to China before. I'd love to see your factory. See, that's a simple one. You know?
Yeah, go out and take some pictures of your factory. I want you to go and smile. I want you to go out in your factory, and I want you to take a picture on the line with some people in there. I mean, if they're really there, You know, hey, on your day at lunch today, I want you to go out in the factory and take a picture of your production line with you smiling in it. You know, that's a good way. I mean, you can almost be ridiculous with some of this stuff. I mean, don't make them jump through too many hoops because they're going to be mad at you. But, you know, pick a couple of things that you know you like to do. Hey, also another one that I really think is go look at how long the website's been up.
Yes, correct. And like I said, if they've been around for some time, they should have some history. They should have a little bit of experience and a footprint. But yeah, just the simple little things you can ask for, just to verify, just to double check, just to make sure that they are there. Like I said, trading companies, they will normally work out of an office, no problems. Yeah? Take a selfie of the office guys. You know, I'd love to meet you guys. I mean, things like this. If there's some guy in his basement, you know, sitting there in his box shorts, then, you know, good luck, you've got some problems. But there you go. It has happened. It does happen. But this is why you need to do your background checks. Keep it simple, you know. But it's important to do it. If you can't, if you're still not happy with what you're getting, get that professional help. It's not a lot of money. It's your business. It's your business that you're investing in. So, right, samples. It's important to get a sample. It's important to get a sample on, I would say, most things. Okay, now we do a lot of work with sort of a lot of people, from an industrial product through to the Amazon buyers and sellers. Sometimes we're working with a number of different people that don't require a sample, but they need the sample to be checked. Now, what they do is just get it sent into the local office in China. So it's an independent company checking the sample on your behalf. They're taking photographs. They're getting a full detailed report together. If you're still interested in getting that over, they can send that physical product over to you. Now, remember, if you are contacting 3, 4, 5 or more potential suppliers to find your ultimate baking mat or silicone spatula that is fluorescent blue, and you require samples from each of those samples may be free from each of those suppliers, but each supplier will charge you shipping. Now, it's normally at cost, but that could range from $30 to $100. So if you've got 3 products, and we'll call it $50, okay? 3 products at $150 to get your samples in your hand. There are other ways to do it. Consolidation. Get your samples sent to one office. That one office will put all of those 3 samples into one box, and you pay for one box to be shipped. Maybe slightly more than 50, maybe it's $60. But again, it's a big saving. It's a big saving on the overall getting samples in your hand process. Okay, if this is normal practice, if your supplier charges you for the samples, you can probably negotiate, or they may even offer this when you're discussing samples, that if you place the order with them, they will refund the cost of any sampling. That's happened to me. That's happened to many people that I've worked for in the past. And that's common practice. So if you can ask for it, ask for it. Now, bearing in mind, if you're getting 3 samples from 3 different suppliers, you're not going to place orders with all 3 suppliers. But at least you can get your money back. You can maybe even get your money back on the shipping. You know, ask for it. If you don't ask, you don't get. And my father used to tell me that. So I'm not a mind reader, and the same as those guys. You know, if you don't ask for it, they're not going to know what you want. So ask for it. Stick your neck out. Go for it. And a lot of the times they will come to the party. They will come to the table and actually start negotiating. Say, fine, okay, if you place the order with us, sure, no problems. You can get the price back, and we'll refund that sampling cost and the shipping cost. There's no problems. Others one. Okay. Now, when you've got your product, there's a number of things to check. It's your first product, you may be a little bit nervous, you may be overexcited. The key thing is to keep a level head, get the product in your hand, evaluate it correctly. Does it do what it's supposed to do? Are the materials correct? Does the product meet the specification? What's the general finish of the product like? Use it, stress test it. You know, I've got a friend, he's an American guy, he's living in South Korea, he's got two twins. Obviously you would have, wouldn't he? But he's got a set of twins, and they're 18 months old, 2 years old. And he gives the products obviously non-sharp and non-critical products, but if it's a product the kids can play with, he'll give them the kids to play. Does it break? Yeah, a 2-year-old can't break it, it must be good. Yeah, that's his stress test. But basically go through that product, make sure it works, stress test that product. If it's okay, good, you know you've got yourself a good product. If it meets your requirements, if it meets the product specification, what it should do. You know, there's a Bluetooth selfie stick, make sure the Bluetooth works. If it doesn't work or if it's intermittent, move on, don't use it. Okay, so that's basically sampling. What's next? How to pay. Okay, how to pay. Escrow. Well, escrow has now changed. It's still the same process, but Alibaba have now changed this, and it's now called secure payment through Alipay. Now, Alibaba is a massive company. It makes Amazon look like your corner shop almost. And these guys have still got the same process. Again, I've got a hyperlink here so they can take you direct to the page. I won't keep flicking around. But it's basically the same process. And that process is where you walk through and you place your order with the guys. Okay. And your money's secure. Your money's secure. Basically, what would happen? You'll pay the money into Alibaba. Alibaba will. This is 30%. 30% down. Okay, with your first order. So you'll pay your 30%.